Our keynote speaker tonight is Mike Wilczynski. Michael grew up in Detroit. He received a BS and an MS in geology from Wayne State University. Mike has worked as a geologist in over a dozen states, Western Canada and Colombia, South Africa. He was the president of the Michigan section of the American Institute of Professional Geologists and chaired the Educational Outreach Committee. He was also a board member of the Michigan Association of Environmental Professionals and co-chaired the Professional Development Committee. He started working in the mining industry in 1979 in Wyoming, and his MS thesis was funded by a mining company that happened to have research facilities in Detroit due to the foundries. Mike worked in offshore oil exploration in the Gulf of Mexico for several years before returning to mining and geology on dry land. His work in the mining industry introduced him to hydrology and environmental studies, which became his passion. He went on to manage the soil and groundwater remediation program for an independent oil company. After 9 years in that position, he joined MDEQ, Remediation and Development Division, and oversaw cleanup and redevelopment of contaminated sites in Wayne and Oakland counties for 12 years. While working with the DEQ, Mike also taught geology at Macomb Community College for 13 years, which was another of his life passions. After he retired from DEQ and Macomb Community College, Mike started to lead geology nature hikes for the DNR. And on one occasion, a person asked about a sand and gravel mine. That led to the startup of pangeaenvironmentalllc, and over 4 years of mostly pro bono consulting, helping local residents and township governments better understand aggregate mining and the potential environmental and human health consequences. He also helped communities in Illinois and Indiana better understand these concerns. Mike's other profession, his other work includes CAFOs, confined animal feeding operations, PFASs, green stormwater management and soil vapor intrusion of contaminants in urban areas and impacts on human health. He does that in Detroit. And then for relaxation, after being retired, he likes to be outdoors and studies history and his historical archaeology, you know what I mean. He was served on the board of directors of the Huron Valley of the Michigan Archaeological Society in Ann Arbor. He also likes buzzing around in his Miata with the top down and going to Jerry's. We've seen you there a few times. And he loves that rock music coming out. Please welcome Michael Wilczynski.
Thank you, Mike. I'm Mike Wilczynski. I'm a certified professional geologist with pangeaenvironmentalllc. I'd like to thank you for coming here tonight. I'd like to talk about sand and gravel, or aggregate mine permitting, and local control. Everyone says you need to mine it where it is, and you do. This is a geologic map of Michigan. You can see the familiar mitten. The different colors are different type of geological material. And all of the, all of the pinkish color has potential for sand and gravel. All of the greens have potential for sand and gravel. All of the shades of green. The yellow is sand. The only areas that do not have potential for sand and gravel are the dark blue. And there's not much of that. Michigan is blessed with a lot of sand and gravel because of the glaciers. We have more than probably any other state in the country. It's important. This map is general in nature. The State Geological Survey is attempting to map Michigan in more detail to find out where our resources are so that we don't build over them. That's been a real problem for the last half a century as urban areas have expanded and built on top of sand and gravel deposits. You know, we need to know where these are so we can plan to use them before we build over them and make them inaccessible or create other very serious consequences that could result from their mining. This map here, it showed the glacial material. It's the more recent material that was dropped by the glaciers when they came by in the last 20,000 years or so. Beneath this is a whole different world of bedrock geology. This is the hard rock stuff that you have to hit with a hammer or a blast to mine. That's also aggregate, but that's referred to as crushed stone. Sand and gravel is also an aggregate, but it's a different type, okay? We're gonna be talking mainly about sand and gravel today because that's what's most widespread in Michigan. Both of these are permitted and regulated by local government at this time. I'm going to be using the term aggregate tonight, but you can just think of sand and gravel when I use that term. EGLE does not regulate aggregate mining. However, EGLE will get involved if regulated wetlands, large groundwater withdrawal, or other state permit is required. Concerned residents have managed to stop several attempts to take away local control of permitting and regulating aggregate mining over the years. There's Bill 429, 431, now we're at 4527 or whatever. These always been defeated or never passed or come to a vote. So concerned citizens have managed to stop several attempts to take away local control. Currently, these mines are permitted by local townships or in some cases by the county. There is currently proposed legislation again to remove local control over the permitting of aggregate mines. Currently, reasons for denial of a mine are in the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act and are called very serious consequences. I've encountered places in Michigan where the local unit of government believed it was illegal to deny a mine. They didn't even read the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. One township in northern Michigan has 10 mines. There's much confusion about permitting and the very serious consequences that could occur if mining would be allowed. We've heard the term NIMBY, not in my backyard. We are NIMBYs. These mines are industrial operations that do not belong in someone's backyard. Sand and gravel deposits form our aquifers, lakes, wetlands, and the reason Michigan is blessed with so much surface water. So there are going to be conflicts over the use of these resources. Mining can adversely impact these natural resources and human health. I worked as a mining geologist, and it can be done better than what I'm seeing in Michigan. I have nothing against mining. We need these resources, but we should not destroy other resources such as prime farmland, wetlands, lakes, and drinking water, not to mention human health, property devaluation, and other very serious consequences under the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. Recently, wells have gone dry in Ann Arbor Township from a mining operation. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is conducting a study around a mine in Jackson County due to the apparent cluster of illnesses. We do not believe the EGLE Air Quality Division general permit for stone crushing is protective of human health when compared to the US EPA ambient air standards. The industry sometimes tries to confuse the issue by using criteria from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to dismiss residential exposures. OSHA regulates workplace exposures. That's an 8-hour exposure, not 24 hours. Big difference. There is concern not over silica dust, which causes silicosis, lung cancer, and has been and possible kidney problems, but any dust that's fine-grained that can get into your lungs. This is referred to as PM 2.5, 2.5 microns or less. This is invisible. You cannot see it. And this is what gets into your lungs and cannot come out. Vibrations from mining and truck traffic cause problems to property and a person's well-being. Imagine 100 fully loaded trucks rumbling past your house 6 days a week. That's 10 an hour, one every 6 minutes in a 10-hour business day. Then there's the return trucks. I've seen dishes rattle and pictures fall off walls in people's homes. This is not the quiet location that you had when you first moved in, and the zoning of the surrounding area was rural residential. I found most local ordinances do not follow the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act and contain vague language when referring to environmental studies. Townships need to update their mineral extraction ordinances to follow the Zoning Enabling Act and be more specific in requirements in an application for aggregate mining. Fear of lawsuits and unfair settlements to avoid a lawsuit against the township by major corporations with deep pockets is a great concern. This can lead to mines being approved in poor locations. Many rural communities lack the resources to protect their communities and defend the township in a lawsuit. Putting the Michigan Department of Environment, Geologist, and Energy in charge of permitting is not the answer. Eagle is understaffed. I worked there for a while. Their offices may be a distance from a proposed or operating mine. This makes responding to complaints difficult, and it is already a problem getting Eagle to respond to complaints, from my experience. A zoning administrator covers just a township, 36 square miles approximately, in a much better position to respond to complaints and know what's going on in the community. The Michigan Department of Transportation is a big customer for aggregate and will benefit from reduced transportation costs if more mines are located near construction sites. Putting Eagle in charge of permitting these mines appears to be a potential conflict of interest, as both report to the governor. I've been told that in the past 20 years in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties, where I do a lot of my work, 2,930 permits for development in wetlands have been approved by Eagle. Only 90 have been denied. What will happen if Eagle is put in charge of aggregate mine permits? Once land is mined, its future uses are limited. A view of Google Earth shows abandoned and unclaimed land. The bonds required are too low to pay for reclamation, and I have yet to see a meaningful land reclamation plan in this state. Delays I have seen in permitting are mostly the fault of the applicant by submitting poor applications and reports. This is a common applicant strategy. It appears to be a common applicant strategy appears to be provide as little information as possible and make the township pull out more from them. This causes unnecessary delays. The aggregate industry is starting to encounter educated citizens, and mines are being denied for valid reasons. Through social media, local groups are connecting and sharing information. Removing local control stops this from happening. The aggregate industry does not like us. You need to stay involved with local government and try to get improved local ordinances for mineral extraction, and encourage your planning commission to hire experts such as hydrogeologists and engineers to review mine applications. You can charge the applicant for these services. You need to read proposed legislation and let your elected official know your concerns. You also need to support the Michigan Geological Survey at Western Michigan University in their efforts to better understand the resources in Michigan. And thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, Mike. We're going to hear from Mike here in a little bit on our panel as well. Mike, if you wouldn't mind, come on back up. And all of our committee members of the Citizens Protect Irish Hills, if you guys would come up on stage with us. Mike is also one of our committee members. You know, a lot of us in our committee and in our community, we're not really aware of sand and gravel, like Roger mentioned, until it was in your doorstep. We want to create this awareness for all of us, but Mike helped us do that. He gave us the confidence, the education, and the tools to understand more about sand and gravel and what we could do to fight it. And we're just very, very thankful for Mike. And tonight we wanted to recognize Mike with a leadership award. The citizens of Irish Hills proudly recognize Michael Wilczynski, certified professional geologist. We truly appreciate the work you do and the service and dedication to our cause. This leadership award is your leadership award for spirit, friendship, and energy, and will remain with us forever. Presented to you tonight by the Citizens Protect Irish Hills. Tell me to get a picture with that. You got a t-shirt as well. You know, yeah. You got a shirt too, and if you guys are interested in shirts, where's Pam Green at? Pam? She's right there. You can see her. We have some shirts if you guys want to get them. just made up, and thank you for all your help. Michael, thank you again so much. We really appreciate your dedication to the cause.